Welcome everyone. You're welcome to this session on Zoom new features. So this session is for anyone that's used to using Zoom for delivering classes but wants to know some of the new features that we have in Zoom that they can use with their classes. My name's Sarah Patterson. I'm in the Department of Technology Enhanced Learning here in MTU, and I'll just go through some of the things that we're going to cover in this session. So the first thing that we'll cover is the Whiteboards feature. This is probably the main thing that I'm going to be talking about in this session. Then I'll talk about sharing slide control, so where you can have other people control your slides while you're presenting something. I'll talk about annotation tools, so you can annotate your screen basically when you're doing something on your screen. I'll talk about using slides as a virtual background. So instead of having a blurred background or a picture background, you could have slides as a background. And then I'll finally discuss focus mode. So if you have any questions during this session, feel free to add them in the Q&A section on Zoom. And either one of my colleagues will get back to you, or I'll get back to you during this session. And you can also, if you're watching us on YouTube, add questions there, and one of my colleagues will get to me if we have any questions there. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually bring you to tel.zoom.us, because this is the best place actually for if you're looking at whiteboards. You can create whiteboards when you're already in a meeting, but if you want to prepare one ahead of time, if you have like a template or something that you want to use, I'd advise you make it ahead of time. So you can either do it within tlcit.zoom.us, or you can also create them on the Whiteboards tab here by clicking new, but I'm just going to show you on the website version for now. So as you can see here, there's templates, or you can just create a new blank whiteboard, but I'll just show you one of the templates. So there's this one, for instance, Rosebud Thorn. So I'm just going to click use this template as an example. And it'll load up here. And then, so maybe you could use something like this as an icebreaker maybe for your students, or you could obviously adapt this to whatever you're doing in your class. And there's loads of other templates there you can look through. But then people can, when you share it with your students, they can add to these sections. Second, the pan is here. So you can zoom in and zoom out. You can pan by doing this here with the grabber and select, and then you can type in these things. So if I'm typing, it'll just be like hello, whatever. You can type on these, and you can draw as well. So you could draw something. There's loads of different shapes and flowchart things that you can use, lines, check boxes, and the thing you'll probably use the most is sticky notes. So these are currently sticky notes that are up on here. So if I click here, then that adds a new sticky note, basically. And on the web version, this isn't in the Zoom client version, but you can also add images, which is quite cool. So I could add an image within the whiteboard, and also erase things really easy. So instead of like rubbing it off, it erases the element basically, and you can undo and redo. And you can also do multiple pages, so you could have another whiteboard within this larger whiteboard to have different pages on it. So what I'm going to do is open up a Zoom class and then show what it would look like when you're sharing it with your students. So I have a Zoom class ready to go here. So 1 second. We have 2 students that I'm missing. Hi, Ruth and Brendan. So I'm going to share my whiteboard with them now, so you can see what it looks like when your students are doing that. So if I just click this one, and then I'm just going to ask Ruth and Brendan to add to it, to draw on it, so you can see. Yep, they can do little hearts or whatever. You could ask people to add whatever for your, if I switch it to the one that we had earlier, let's switch to the rosebud thorn one. And here you can see, if you didn't want your students to actually be able to edit the whiteboard, you could just have it that they view it instead of edit it, basically, by clicking here. If I click open in collaboration on this one, it should hopefully open. I think we're just zoomed in too much. Don't know where the rosebud thorn thing is gone, but anyway. If I click share and copy link, what you can do is that students can actually access this whiteboard outside of class, and they don't actually have to be in Zoom. They can go onto the website themselves too. So if I just stop sharing, close the whiteboard, and then click chat, and then copy it into here, then Ruth and Brendan should be able to access it from here, basically. So if I open it here, I think it was this one. If not, I can link this one as well. Copy link. Link again, see if that works. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so we can see Brendan has added his name to the list. We were testing earlier, so there's multiple rosebud thorn. That's probably what the error was. So you can see they can add to the list. They can move things around themselves as well, which is really handy. So what you can do as well is when you're finished working on the whiteboard, and maybe you want to keep a copy of it but without editing it anymore, you can export it to a PDF or to an image. So you can see here I've just exported it to an image, and you can see what we've done there. So that's really handy. You can do the same with PDF. It even has version history. You can lock the board so you can stop people from being able to add to it anymore. And you can also move it to the trash. So that's definitely really helpful. So yeah, so even though I've closed the board in the main chat, in the main meeting, they can still access it at the moment. So it's something that you could start in class and then keep working on if you wanted to, and even opening it again another time. Say if I just did whiteboards again, I could share with everyone again. It'll show up again, you see? So that's mainly what whiteboards are for. So it's definitely something useful that you could use. If you've ever used something like Miro, it's very similar. So I'll move on from whiteboards there. Close whiteboard. And I'm going to show something called slide control. So basically, it's if I was sharing, if you're a student or a non-student, if you a lecturer, I just need to change my sharing options so that all participants can share as well. So I can show this. If you're sharing your slides, but you want someone else to control the slides, so like if a student is giving their presentation and another student can go through the slides, something like that, you can do that really easily. So what I'm going to do is share my Google Slides and click slideshow. And now you can see there's a button that's come up called slide control. So when I click that, I can nominate another person in the meeting, so a student, to have control of the slide. So if I click Ruth here, then Ruth should be able to, you see, Ruth is able to go through my slides. So that's just really helpful if you have students or someone that is giving a presentation, but they also don't want to have to click next the whole time. It's really helpful for that. And you can also click stop slide control, and then that removes their privileges of being able to do that, basically. Definitely really helpful. So if I stop that share, another thing you can do that's really good is I'll share screen again and just I'll show it again. Annotations. So if there's something you want to draw attention to on the screen, if I just get out of that, yeah. If you click annotate here, what you can do is then just loads of different tools you can draw on the screen. If you click format, you can change the thickness of your pen basically and the color. and even the fonts. You can write on the screen. And you can have stuff that spotlights things. So if I do this little arrow, it can draw people's attention. So if you're just going through something, you want to draw attention to things on your screen, this is a really helpful tool. What you can also do is clear everything. So you can click clear all drawings and start again. If you want to move anything, so if I just do another drawing, I can do a box. I do this box, and then if I want to move it, I can just move it really easily. And then when you're happy with what you're done, if you want to keep it, what you can do is click save, and it'll save it as an image basically. And it kind of saves it in a random folder on your PC. So what you need to do is click show in folder quickly, because that'll disappear, because it doesn't go to your downloads folder, it goes to your Zoom folder. And just click show in folder, and then you'll find the image, and then you can see that's my image from when I saved it. Okay, so I go back to annotate. Anything else here? There's a vanishing pens. If you wanted to draw on the screen but have it slowly disappear, you can do that too. So I'll leave the annotation and stop the share for now. Another interesting thing is using slides as a virtual background. So if I click share screen and go to the advanced settings, and I might show you a couple of these, but the first one I want to show is PowerPoint as a virtual background. So if you click that and click share, you can click a file and it'll load into Zoom. So this is really handy as opposed to sharing your screen. It'll just be a bit smoother. And then it'll appear in the Zoom, and then it's as your background. So you can see me here instead of having me on a separate screen with my background. The PowerPoint presentation is my background, and your students can do this too, as long as you give them sharing privileges. Your students will be able to do this too if that's something you want to do. So you can just see this is PowerPoint just from another one of our sessions, and you can see as I go through, I'm on top of the screen. So that's really, and the quality is really good. So it's definitely worth trying. So let me stop that share. And finally, the last thing I want to discuss is something called focus mode. So I'll ask Brendan and Ruth maybe to turn on their videos just for this demo. But what focus mode is if you have a group of students and you want all your students to not be able to see each other. So if everybody has their cameras on in a session, if you click start focus mode, what will happen is that participants will only be able to see my video and any shared content of spotlighted people. So when I click this start, it'll mean that Ruth and Brendan, now I can still see Ruth and Brendan, but they can't see each other anymore. So you could use that if you were wanting to keep people focused when you're introducing new material, or if you're maybe monitoring in quiet tasks. So you might be in the middle of your class session and ask people to do an online quiz or something like that and come back to the session. So you might click focus mode so they're not distracting each other. Also, if you wanted your students to maybe share work with you, like share their screen, but not the other students see it just yet, you could do that in focus mode. So students will be able to share with you within the session and the other students won't be able to see it. Yep, so that's focus mode. You can't really see what the students see, but I assure you, Brendan and Ruth can't see each other. And then if you click stock mode, focus mode, it'll go back to normal and they can see everybody else in the session. I think that's it on the new features. If there's anything in the Q&A, you might let me know there.
No problem, sir. So Paul Nolan has just asked there, what happens in focus mode in breakout rooms?
Yeah, I'm not sure there is a focus mode in breakout rooms. I'm not sure. That's something I have to check. But I don't think it works in breakout rooms, but it's not something that we're really testing.
It's not available in breakout rooms, unfortunately. Yeah. That is only the main session, Paul.
Yeah, main session. So like if you're putting your students into breakout rooms, it would be most of the time it's them in the breakout room. So probably wouldn't work within a breakout room itself. It's more for, as I said, monitoring quiet tasks and things like that. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, I might just show some support stuff before we leave. So
sorry, sir.
yeah.
Paul has just asked another question. Can I link an iPad as a doodle pad in sessions?
I'm not sure what that means.
I can take that actually.
Yeah.
If you can, so you can add an iPad as a device when you're sharing. So in the share option.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
I can
So
show
the
that.
share options, you can basically access the same features. An iPad would actually be quite useful for doodling and that kind of thing. So if you have an iPad, you can use AirPlay. So that's the option that Sarah is showing there. There's also the ability to share a second camera, which is a different option. It would kind of that would kind of kick in if you're using a document camera, something that was actually plugged in via USB, or indeed if you had another type of camera, even if you had a different webcam that you were capturing a whiteboard or something in a physical classroom, you could use that. But to answer Paul's remark or question there would be using the AirPlay feature. I think that's that there.
Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, no bother.
Yeah. So just in terms of support, if you have any, if you want more information on any of the things that we've covered today in today's session, you can find it on our support site. So if you go onto our main site, tel.cit.ie, and click support, and then click I'm a lecturer and go into staff help articles, or you can just go straight to tlhelp.eu.helpdocs.com as well. You'll find loads and loads of articles that cover anything, almost anything that you could think of to do with Canvas and Zoom and that kind of thing. And we recently have added stuff on the whiteboard feature. So if you need more information on that, that's all there, how to create a whiteboard, how to share it, that kind of thing. It's all linked up. So that's that really. If you want to join any other training sessions, we have 2 more training sessions this week on Thursday, I think. So there's one for Canvas for new staff, and there's one on Canvas and Zoom general refresher on Thursday at 10 and at 2. Was there any more questions?
I'm not sure if there were any questions, but it might be worth pointing out that those 2 sessions are actually hybrid sessions on Thursday. So you're all very welcome to come into us in the seminar room where we can go through stuff with you there. We're also delivering at the same time live to online participants. So you're all very welcome to come to those sessions, particularly for new staff for that new staff one. Thanks a million, Sarah. Well done.
No worries. Thanks everyone. Oh, and if you do want to come to a session, if you click add to calendar, it'll download onto your Outlook as well. So that's really helpful to remind you when the sessions are. And that's it. So thanks everyone for coming, and the session will be on YouTube in a couple of days if you want to watch it back. Okay, thanks.